We had a young man here from Seoul, Korea, actually. Good guy. Good one, wonderful young man. Except, he had a big problem, actually. He never was able to really keep his room clean. Every morning, I had to go in there and help him or tell him or give him a yellow slip because he was really having a hard time cleaning his room. Might be the first time he ever had an opportunity to clean his room, I think, but he had a problem doing that. And so I was always on him about that. So now it's time to go to visit a high school in the 7th grade, because I always take the students in the 7th grade to go see the high schools. So that way you have time to do everything that you need to do in order to have the best resume that you can, so by the time you apply to the school, you've taken the courses and you've played different things and you've done this and that and other thing and blah, blah, blah. So I always like to bring the students early to visit the boarding high schools. So I took this boy from Seoul, Korea to the school, and I walked around. It was a pretty good school. I thought it was probably a little higher level school. He was going to have a hard time getting into that school. It was a good school. But it was going to be a hard stretch for him to get into. But I took him and I showed him all around. We walked around the dormitory and we came back. And now we're driving home and I said, well, what did you think about that school? And he said, oh, it's a terrible school. It's a terrible school. You're kidding me. Why? He goes, did you see how dirty the dorm rooms were? So his dorm room was dirty every day. I don't know why, you don't understand it. So the truth is, what you want to do is you want to give the admissions director a good impression. Now, it's even deeper than that. Do you know that the lady that came yesterday, Catherine O'Brien, well, she's a very good friend of Leo Marshall, and of Tom Shepard, and Annie Shepard, and to all of the admissions directors in the Western Boarding School Association. And do you know they all get together every once in a while and they have a conference? And you know, we go and we have wine and cheese and we get together and we talk about different things. And do you know what Kathleen O'Brien says sometimes? Wow, I went to Harper School and those kids are fantastic at the Harper School. And then all the other admissions directors are, what? They're hearing this. So even though, that's why I asked the boys to come yesterday. I know for sure none of the boys are going to go to Flint Ridge Sacred Heart School for the girls, I can tell you that, I know that. But it was important for the boys to come to begin to learn how to interview and how to interact with not only the admissions director of the school that you want to go to, but anybody involved in the process. When you go to visit a school, it's going to be very common for a student to show you around the campus. Doesn't matter if it's high school or if it's college. There's usually a tour guide that will take you around the campus. And I found that so many people think, oh, it's just a tour guide. I don't need to talk to him. That tour guide is going to fill out a little report about you. How curious were you? How kind were you? How friendly were you? How positive were you? What questions did you ask? What did you think about this person? And so on and so forth. So really, when you go to visit the school, you have to be careful. Every single person that you run into during that visit, you need to put your best foot forward. You need to shine. And so even things like when we went to Choate Rosemary Hall in Connecticut and the leaves were falling and the guys that were, the gardeners were cleaning up the leaves. I would have our students go and say, well, good morning, and talk to them as they go by and say hello. And you know that those gardeners went back and talked to the admissions office and said, hey, those kids from that school, they were the nicest. Nobody's ever said hello to us. They were kind and polite. Oh, that was at Harper School. Oh, I guess at Harper School, they're kind and polite. They teach the students to be courteous and kind no matter if it's a person raking the leaves or if it's a matter of the president of the school. They're very kind and polite to everybody. So we stay overnight at Exeter. They have a hotel at Phillips Exeter School, believe it or not, in at Exeter. Guess what the maids did? You stayed in the room overnight and you left. We make sure that the room was very clean, the lights were off, the covers were back on the bed, everything was cleaned up very nice and tight, very organized. Guess what happened? The maids sent a note to the admissions office saying, wow, these kids are wonderful. The room was clean. They're used to other students coming in and the place, potato chips on the floor and blah, 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 and everything all over the place, you know, they left their underwear over here and their toothbrush over there and everything. Our kids were organized, clean, and straight. It was a good impression.